Alright, hi and hello everybody, it's Fern. Welcome back to another Planty video. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we're going to be talking about my wish list plants that I acquired in 2024. And if you've been around throughout the past year, then you would know it was a year of many plants coming into my collection. Probably too many plants coming into my collection, and we'll talk about that later and what next year is kind of going to look like in terms of bringing new plants in. But yeah, it's no secret that I got a lot of plants this year. I had a lot of plants gifted to me this year. I'm very lucky that through being here on YouTube and talking about planty things, I get to work with different plant shops. I have been generously sent plants by different viewers, and yeah, I'm very privileged in that way. I just want to say that up front right at the beginning of the video, because I don't want anyone to watch this and compare themselves or think that this is like a normal situation, because it's definitely not, and I'm very much aware of that. So yeah, it's definitely insanity that I was able to cross off pretty much my entire wish list for 2024, which I think that that's the only year. This is the first year that this has happened. There's one plant that I didn't cross off, but I think every single other one I did, which is crazy. And I also got it wasn't even on my list because it was considered like my unattainable wish list plant. And I got that in my collection this year. I was able to purchase that. So that's crazy enough. And I'm gonna have to remember to mention that as well. I forgot to add it to my list because I watched my video that I posted around this time of year last year, where I was saying what my wish list was for 2024, and I was also, I think it was like the same video. I was reviewing the prior year's wish list and then talking about the next year's wish list, which was 2024, but now we're at the end of this year and we're kind of repeating. Anyways, I didn't even put the variegated philodendron on there because it's been on my wish list for so many years and I just never thought I would have one, but now they have come way down in price. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go through my wish list and, show you the plants that I was able to obtain and kind of give my thoughts on them. Do I recommend them? Did they let me down? Have they impressed me? Like, just what my kind of experience has been growing them, because many of these I did actually get at the beginning of the year as well, so I've had them for a while now. So yeah, it's just gonna be kind of a more casual, chatty, kind of like cozy end of year vibes, if you know what I mean. I'm sitting here beside the tree, it's very nice, and we're just gonna hang out and review my 2024 wish list. And then yes, at the end I will talk about 2025 a little bit. Okay, so the first plant that was on my wish list for this year was the syngonium frosted heart, and I got this like very soon after I posted that video. I either got it at the end of last year or at the very beginning of this year. I don't remember exactly, but somebody reached out to me and sent me this because they knew I really wanted it, which is crazy. And the syngonium frosted heart is a plant that I've wanted pretty much since I started collecting plants. Like, this has been on my wish list probably, yeah, for 5 years. This was gifted to me by Jessie from Blue Dakota on Instagram, and I probably wouldn't have this plant if it wasn't sent to me, because I just never see these for sale. I don't know what the heck it is, but yeah, that's why I didn't have one for such a long time, because I just don't see them for sale. And they're not even really a rare or expensive plant, so I don't know what's with that. But anyways, I got this. It was sent to me on a pole, on like a DIY lazy pole. I ended up transferring it off of that. Also, it showed up so nicely and it settled in so easily. And I had heard that sometimes these can really suffer from shipping, but this one, like, mine was amazing. It bounced back so quickly. I transferred it off of that pole, that DIY pole. I got it onto a Rousseau pole, and shortly after I did that, I knocked it off of the calyx shelf, which was awful. I broke the growth point right off, like the newest leaves, but it recovered so well. And yeah, it's just been such a steady grower for me the whole entire year, constantly putting out a new leaf. You can see, well, maybe you can't, but it's putting out a new leaf right here. And it's just such an easygoing, beautiful, rewarding plant to grow. I love this so much. It gets a 10 out of 10 from me. I highly recommend if you're looking for a plant that is a climber but is a little bit more compact. That's why I like this one, because, you know, it's not a plant that the leaves get massive or anything. It stays nice and compact. It has petioles that are on the shorter side, and it also has that kind of look where it just looks like it grows in a really organized pattern. Like, can you see the way it vines up? And mine isn't even laying that nicely. If you put a vertical grow light in front of this, or had this facing a window or facing some kind of light source, it would look absolutely breathtaking. Now mine doesn't look, I mean, it looks stunning, like, don't get me wrong, I love the way that it looks right now, and I'm super happy with it. But you can see that some of the leaves are pointing upwards, and that's just because I have a grow light coming from above it, so you're not getting, like, it could look better is all I'm saying. I mean, any plant, like, I would prefer to have the light source in front of it than from above, but just with my space, I don't have the room to be putting vertical lights in front of all my plants. I kind of need to use the vertical space. But yeah, it's just a gorgeous plant. Mine, some of the leaves aren't super frosty. I think that's just because it would appreciate a little bit more light, maybe. But I still love it. It's stunning. Maybe I'll move this into the window for the spring season. We'll see. But yeah, I literally have zero complaints about this plant. It's just, I'm so happy with it. And I'm not even a syngonium person, but this syngonium, like, yes please. I am just obsessed. So yeah, only good things to say about this one, and I'm so happy that I was able to cross this off of my wish list. Especially after wanting it for so many years, I'm really glad that it's, like, lived up to my expectations as well. Maybe I'll just put her back here for the rest of the video. She's so cute. Oh my gosh. The chubby heart-shaped leaves, like, I can't. You could probably grow that beautifully just up a stake as well. I don't think that you necessarily need a whole moss pole setup. Okay, so the second plant, this is kind of like a group of plants that I had on my wish list, was terrarium begonia, just in general. And after I posted this video last year, I received a massive package of terrarium begonia from Chlorophylls. So I crossed this off my wish list like 20 times over because suddenly I had so many terrarium begonia. And the ones that I had specifically mentioned in the video, I mentioned Chloristicta, and that was in the package, so I got that one, along with a host of other just stunning terrarium begonia. Now, I recently posted my whole begonia collection on my channel, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. You can see all of the different begonias that I have in my collection. But yeah, I got a lot of them. Right now, unfortunately, many of them are in kind of rehab mode from after I went away in September and left them without a grow light, which was not the move, and that's a good learning lesson. But yeah, tons of terrarium begonia came into my collection, and I am so grateful for that. I love them so much. One that I did mention in that video that I've been wanting, that's on my wish list, this is probably my top wish list terrarium begonia, is the begonia pink urchin. I have not been able to get my hands on that one, but honestly, it's fine because I have so many others that I am happy to care for and to focus on. And yeah, I don't even mind that I don't have that one yet. If I get it one day, that will be lovely, but in the meantime, I just have so many begonias to love, so it's all good. Okay, next on my list was the alocasia watsoniana, which I have right beside me here. Now, I was mentioning in my video last year that I had the alocasia watsoniana, but it was a corm that had not done anything, so I just kept it on my wish list because I didn't really know if I was going to end up with one or not, or is it going to be like the one that I like? I don't know. It was still on my wish list. If I would have come across this plant at an affordable price, I probably would have grabbed it this year if this hadn't grown. But as you can see, I now have my alocasia watsoniana. This is the corm that I was talking about. It took so long to grow. The longest I've ever had a corm, like, I thought for sure it was just not gonna grow at all. It's the longest I've ever waited for a corm to grow. I don't know why, but it took its sweet time, and honestly, so worth the wait because this is my favorite alocasia right now. Like, I am obsessed. This is like my dream alocasia, this dark kind of velvety leaf with the striking veins, and then we have a deep purple back. Like, it's flawless. I am absolutely in love with it. I can't stop staring at it. I'm gonna be repotting this soon, I think. I'm scared to do anything to this plant because I love it so much. But yeah, this was gifted to me by Natasha from Planted and Platinum, who is also here on YouTube, so I'll link her channel in the description. She's gifted me several just stunning plants, and I'm so thankful because this is just a dream. I'm not sure which variety of watsoniana it is, because there's like Doff, Sulawesi, some other, I don't know, there's different varieties. She's not sure which one it is, but whatever it is, it's perfect. Like, I don't even need to know a specific name because I don't care. It's just, we're just going off of vibes here, and the vibes are correct. So yeah, it's been growing well for me so far, but like I said, this is, you know, grown from a corm, and that's my only experience growing this plant. I've had maybe 1 or 2 other leaves. This one is on its way out, but it's still just hanging on there for a while. I'll probably remove it once it starts to really crisp up. But yeah, I haven't had any bad experiences growing this, I can say that. But if you like the way that this alocasia looks, I think that they're becoming more available as well. So like, I have seen these recently popping up on Etsy for an affordable price. I think that they're gonna go more mainstream, or I think that they are going mainstream. So I think a lot more people are going to be able to get their hands on this soon, which is really exciting because it's just like, it's such an eye-catching plant. Even though this is so small, like this is in comparison to my hand, it's a very small leaf, my eye immediately is drawn to this plant in the cabinet. So I cannot imagine just how breathtaking this is going to be when it's a full large plant. I can't even imagine. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, I'm so excited to watch this grow out, and hopefully next year I will get several new leaves on this guy. Such a just beautiful plant. I love it so much. It's so dark. This is like, yeah, I'm obsessed. Okay, so next I had a couple of philodendron on my wish list, which I don't really bring many philodendron into my collection anymore just because of how much space they take up, and they do require, at least for climbing philodendrons, they do require more care than a lot of my other plants that aren't climbing and don't need, you know, a whole moss pole setup and the maintenance that comes along with that. So yeah, I really just am not bringing a lot of philodendron in. I feel like I'm happy with the philodendron I have, you know, like I have a good variety. This is how I feel now. But at the end of last year, I wanted to just round out my philodendron collection a little bit more. I didn't have many variegated philodendron. I really only had the red Anderson, and is that it for like climbing phylos? I guess so. So I wanted to bring in another variegated one, and the one that was on the top of my wish list was the philodendron Jose Buono, which I have like a massive plant of now. So this bad boy came to me from Plant Haven, Toronto, and it has completely lived up to my expectations again. I am obsessed with this philodendron. This has like several vines in here, so you can see that it's a very full plant, which I kind of like the look of it, like being super full. It looks so pretty. But I love this plant for not only its ease of growth, but the beautiful variegation that it has. And the philodendron Jose Buono is different in its variegation because the new leaves will come out with very white variegation. I actually have a couple of like all white leaves coming in right now. I don't know why it's randomly doing that. There's 2 well, this one has some green, I can see, but just very heavily variegated leaves coming in right now. And I haven't had one of those in a while. Like, this was really going on a more green trajectory for a little bit, but now we're back to the highly variegated, which was what it was giving me earlier in the year. So that's interesting. But the thing about the variegation with the Jose Buono that I really love, oh my gosh, there's a fat mealy on there. Get off. Just one chilling. Oh my gosh. I did just spray this down this morning, but I actually didn't see any pests on it, so that's crazy. Can't stop the mealies in this house, seriously. Anyways, the philodendron Jose Buono variegation comes in, the fresh leaves come in with very white variegation, or like a creamy white, and then it gradually fades down to a minty color. So you don't keep that stark white, but you just get like minty, like do you see that there, that lighter green That's what it fades down to. And I know some people don't like that and they want something that's gonna stay with that super bright white variegation, but I actually really love the whole just like coming out super white and then fading down to just a lighter green. I think that that's so pretty. It gives this plant so many different colors, and it also makes it easier to maintain. So you're not gonna get that crisping that comes with a lot of these plants that are super white. Okay, sorry, it's kind of heavy. The other thing is that I think that the variegation with the Jose Buono is stable, so it's not gonna revert on you, which is really nice. I think that it's really pretty. I love that the style of variegation that it has, and it really has been such an easygoing philodendron for me and just so fun to watch grow. I'm excited to watch it continue to grow over the next year. I would love to see some large leaves on this. Only one of the vines is rooted into the pole, and then it has another 2 vines like growing in front of it. It's like dense in here, y'all. There's a lot of plant growing in here. So yeah, we'll see what it ends up looking like in the new year. I'm very excited. I love this one so much. So yeah, another 10 out of 10. Like I highly recommend it. I think all of these plants so far have been 10 out of 10. Like, I'm obsessed, and we're not stopping because the next one is also a 10 out of 10. Okay, the next philodendron that I crossed off of my wish list was the philodendron patriciae. Now, this is my baby, my prized philodendron. I love this plant so much. I'm obsessed. If you watched my last plant tours video, you would have seen me showing this one off. We have a fresh new leaf at the front there. It's still hardening off. But this combines my love of long strappy leaves with my love for philodendrons. This is the only like pendant type philodendron that I have, I think. The only other pendant type plants that I have are my anthurium, and I love those ones so much. So the fact that I can grow a long strappy philodendron is just, mwah, I'm so excited. I love how dark these leaves can get as well. They can get massive. I love the like ribbing kind of texture that they get. And yeah, again, it's a plant where I do not have a bad thing to say because it's just been a joy to grow out. I really wanted this philodendron, and I'm so happy that I got it. It's 100% lived up to the expectations. I got this in a trade actually, which was really nice. That was such a good trade, honestly. I think, do I have an unboxing from that trade? I think I do. But yeah, I love her so much. I can't believe she put out this beautiful leaf in December. Like, that's just crazy. And this plant doesn't even get a ton of light. It only gets natural light, no grow light or anything, and it seems to be super happy with that. It does have, oh my gosh, this is like so full. It's spilling every time I move it. But let me sit down here. This is growing in my DIY pond in a Houseplant Essentials self-watering pot. Has a Russo plant care pole, and it also has a stunning pink cover pot that is normally in, so it looks super cute, but it's just really heavy, so I didn't bring it down. Yeah, I definitely overfilled this pot last time I filled it. I'm gonna put her back because it's just steadily dripping onto me here. But yeah, she is Gorgina. Just look at her. Like, are you joking me? And I've only had this since the spring or the summer. Hasn't been very long. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Patriciae, 10 out of 10. If you have been wanting one, definitely keep your eye out. I know that they've come down so much in price, and they're becoming a lot more accessible as well, which is great. So yeah, it's just a great philodendron, and again, I highly recommend. Okay, so now we're moving into Hoya territory. So the first Hoya that I had on my wish list for this year was the Hoya undulata. And I didn't think that I was going to be crossing this off this year because I was keeping my eye out for them, but I really wanted to get like the right one. And I mean, you don't see them pop up a lot on, I feel like, online plant shops in Canada. So I was keeping my eye out, but if it didn't feel right, if I wasn't like obsessed with the one in the photo or whatever, I just didn't get it. And yeah, I figured I would just wait until it all worked out and it felt right. So long story short, I didn't end up getting one until about a month ago. I received a package with 2 Hoyas from Cartel Down in Indonesia. And one of the Hoyas that package contained was Hoya undulata. So you can imagine how shook I was. I have an unboxing for that as well. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know that this was going to be in the package, and I am just so excited to be able to try my hand at growing this. So I ended up cutting this. It's now in 4 pieces because it came to me as a massive plant, like massive. And I really wanted it to have, first of all, less leaves to have to sustain while it's like reestablishing a root system and everything. I thought it'd be a little bit easier for it to just root up and get established. And then I also wanted to have backup cutting so I can try to root those separately. So it's just so that I have more chances to try to, you know, have like a healthy portion of this plant, if that makes any sense. So this is the main part that I took the cuttings from, and so far it's doing pretty well. It lives in my Millsbow wide cabinet, and I think I can see maybe a couple of small, it's so hard to tell, there might be a couple of small roots in here, but we also have a baby leaf coming in, which is crazy. Do you see that? Like right there, there's a baby leaf coming in. Whoops. I was so shocked to see that. So I don't know, like, that's crazy. I was not expecting to see a leaf this soon. The leaves feel pretty firm. Like, they're definitely not floppy or anything, so I'm feeling good about this. There was a moment, like, a couple of weeks after I received this where I don't know, I was really worried. It felt floppy. I thought the whole thing would maybe just croak, but honestly, I might end up with, like, multiples of this plant surviving now, which is insane. Some of y'all left some really great advice for me on that unboxing video, so I really appreciate that. People were talking about this plant not liking cool temperatures, so I have been really trying to avoid, at least for the time that this is establishing, I've been really trying hard to avoid this room getting super cold and that cabinet getting super cold. So hopefully it's been appreciating that. But yeah, I have Hoya undulata, which is crazy. This is a Hoya that's both a foliage and a bloom. I appreciate both of those. The foliage is obviously super cool. It's this crazy, crusty, undulated kind of leaf. Obviously, these are like import leaves, so they don't look as good as it could look. I'm really excited to see what this is going to look like once I start getting leaves grown in my care that are nice and healthy. But I love the foliage, and I also love the blooms. It has these big, crazy looking, almost like teeth looking blooms, and I just think that it is so cool. Just such an interesting Hoya, and I feel really lucky to have it in my collection now. So yeah, don't really have too much to say about this because I'm not familiar with it enough yet, but so far it's doing well and I'm really excited. Okay, I was just at the plant shelf grabbing the next plants to show you, but I noticed that one of my Hoya undulata cuttings, the one that I just have water propagating, which I felt like was a risk. I have the other ones in, I think, moss and perlite, but look, we have roots, you guys. I'm so shocked. I don't know why. I feel like it's been so drilled into my head that this is such a finicky and difficult Hoya that I just kind of expected mine to not make it, or for me to like not be capable of growing this plant. So I'm so surprised that it's rooting. Like, I can't believe that. That's so cool. I'm sure the other ones are probably rooting as well then. They're in prop boxes, so I'm not gonna mess with them, but yeah, I just happened to notice that and I had to come and show you since we were just talking about this plant. But how cool is that? And look at the silver on this one. Like, this is so pretty. I cannot wait to get more leaves in my care because I think that this is gonna end up being a really gorgeous plant. Okay, so the next Hoya that I was on my wish list, this is like, it's so funny how this is technically me going through my wish list, but it's just turning into a show and tell because I was able to get so many plants. Okay, so the next one that was on my wish list was the Hoya sulawesiana. Now, I came across this Hoya, instantly fell in love with it because of the blooms, although I do really like the foliage as well. I love the leaves, but the pink fuzzy blooms were like nothing I'd ever seen before. It was like the Hoya blooms from my wildest dreams. So immediately this Hoya shot up to the top of my wish list, and I had a really hard time finding it. Seems to be a Hoya that's more tricky to find, at least just from when you're like Googling or looking on Etsy or whatever. Anyways, I was so lucky to be gifted this by a viewer. I still can't believe that I have this. Like I literally almost croaked when I opened this package. I got this when I was feeling, not even that long ago, like 2 months ago, because I remember it was when I had a really bad head cold, and this package arrived and basically revived me because there was so many incredible plants in there. I still can't believe that I have this. It's just, oh my gosh, what an incredible Hoya. Look at these leaves. I think this is I think it's put out 2 leaves in my care. And yeah, look at the size of this. Like, it is so cool. It has these dark, elongated, kind of like textured leaves. They're really thick. It's just stunning. And of course, you'll have seen the blooms on the screen. Just absolutely incredible. I'm going to probably repot this soon. Honestly, I don't even know if it really needs a repot, but I probably will anyways, just to get it into, I'll probably upgrade this to a 4-inch just for the sake of me keeping it up with watering and everything. But yeah, this is almost like, I feel like normally people just classify the really like crusty dusty, kind of like the undulata, as like the prehistoric Hoyas, but this one feels very prehistoric, just like the leathery texture that it has. Like, yeah, I don't know, it gives Jurassic Park vibes. And yeah, I just have so much appreciation for this Hoya, even more so now after seeing it in person. This thing settled in super well, immediately started putting out a new leaf for me, and yeah, I'm just so grateful that I have this. I can't believe it. If this ever blooms for me, I will truly perish. So yeah, we'll see. But this is one that I'm really looking forward to grow out into the new year. Of course, obsessed. And so far, I mean, I obviously don't have a lot of experience with it, but I mean, it's been fine so far. I have this just growing in regular room conditions on my plant shelf under my Burina lights, so nothing super fancy, and it's happy. Okay, so the next plant that I had on my wish list was a Monstera albo, and I've had Monstera albo in my collection since like 2020 or something, but it just wasn't the specimen that I wanted. I really wanted something with more like high marbled variegation, because mine, it was very low variegation. It was mostly green. And over the past year, I've actually been able to grow out a wet stick from my original Monstera albo, and it's now turned into like a stunning half moon albo, so I'm super thankful to have that. But I still just wanted like a high variegation, really like marbled Monstera albo. That's probably my favorite look for Monstera albo, is just like that really marbly kind of look. So I was also able to get one of those through a trade, which like I can't believe it. And she's right here. This is just such a pretty plant. It's in the same setup as the philodendron patriciae. Oh my gosh, there's actually roots growing down into the like tray thing. I've never seen any of my plants do that in this setup. That's crazy. How's it even, oh my gosh, okay. I didn't notice that before. So this is her. She's kind of pointing upwards with her leaves, but I'll try to show you them. Like, look at that. It's so pretty. I got this in the same package, the same trade that I got the philodendron patriciae in. And oh, there's a hair. And yeah, it's been doing amazing since I've had this since like spring, summer. This is a new leaf that it just put out, like this just unfurled within the past week. Look at that. So pretty. It has a mix of marble but also sectoral variegation. It is just like such a dreamy plant, and I'm so happy. This, I would have been shook if I had this in like 2020 when I got my original Monstera albo, because I feel like you would see so many of like this type of Monstera albo on Instagram and stuff, but it was just so hard to get one like that back in those days. They would just go online so fast, or they would be so expensive. So yeah, it really, oh my gosh, like look at this leaf. I wish it wasn't so hard to show you these leaves, but wait a second. I don't want to tip the water out, that's the problem. Like, look at that. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I would have been shook if I had this plant back then, and I'm still shook that I have it now, to be quite honest. Like, just a classic. Like, variegated Monstera doesn't get old. I love it so much, and I love the OG variegated monsteras. Like I love the albo and I love the Thai. I don't really venture into the other types. I have monstera aurea, but it's definitely not my favorite, which just makes me think, you know, sometimes just the regular version really is the best. Like there's so many of these other expensive varieties that people pay thousands of dollars for, and I still think that monstera albo and monstera Thai are the prettiest ones. Like, I don't know, I just love them and they're so fun to grow, and each leaf is like a surprise. And yeah, I just feel very content having these ones. Would I say no to a monstera mint? Probably not, but I'm very just happy with the ones that I have. So yeah, highly variegated monstera albo. Gosh, I just love it so much. This one isn't on a pole or anything, as you can see. I don't really like to pole my monstera deliciosas, but we'll see what the future brings with her, because obviously I do want to see some decent leaf size on her. But yeah, I'm really happy to have that one. And it's been growing great. Oh yeah, I also had like a sub little thing of getting another variegated Adansonii this year, and I did not do that. I got my Indonesian mint at the end of last year, at the end of 2023, and that one's kind of been on the fence for me. It hasn't been the best plant for me, and it doesn't look the best, so I don't really know how I feel about that one, honestly. I see other people's look amazing though, so I'm gonna keep trying with it. But I think that I was thinking more of just like the regular like albo Adansonii, but I wanted one that was a little bit more, I guess, I don't know, just had more balanced variegation, because mine, I had one before and I loved it because I love monstera Adansonii in general, but mine just completely not even reverted. It went all white. It went all variegated. I cut it up. All of the props went all variegated, so that was not great, and I have been wanting to replace it, but I didn't end up replacing it this year, but that's okay. I'm honestly kind of hesitant to try that plant again, just because I had that issue, and I seem to have that issue with a lot of variegated plants. Like my syngonium chia pence variegated, that one is currently going all white, so I'm gonna have to chop it up, which kind of sucks. And what else? My Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, that happened to that one as well. So I don't know, those kind of variegated plants are just, can be stressful. Okay, so the next plant that I had on my wish list was an anthurium. It was the only anthurium on my wish list, and I was able to grab myself one. This is definitely like the least impressive looking of all the plants in this video. This is my anthurium veitchii. This is actually super narrow, anthurium veitchii super narrow. I was able to purchase this from North Shore Tropicals, I think sometime in the summer, maybe in like June or something. I don't remember exactly. Now, I repotted this somewhat recently into Molly's mix, and it seemed really happy with that. It immediately shot out a leaf, and then I very promptly beheaded that leaf, so now it is like a half leaf, which is unfortunate because this would have been really nice. I mean, it still is. We can't judge it for being only half a leaf. But yeah, imagine if that had the other half on it. It would have been so nice. So it's kind of sad that that happened. But yeah, it is what it is. I was taking it out of the cabinet to water it, and the leaf had like was like a little point and was coming out, and it just completely got snapped off. But on the bright side, now I know that it's happy in this mix. I know that it, you know, has the capability to grow these nice leaves. So I'll be looking forward to more of those. I can see a nice chunky root in here, so that's good. And I'm gonna give this a water through before I put it back, actually. But yeah, I don't know. This plant has been a little bit difficult to grow, and it's funny because I hear such mixed things about the veitchii. Like, some people say that this is the easiest anthurium to grow, but then it's like so crazy looking because of the way it's like mounted in the cabinet with the grow light above. But I hear some people say that this is the easiest anthurium to grow, and then I hear other people say that theirs won't grow at all and it's super difficult. What is that? Is that a fungus net? And my experience has kind of been that this has been a little bit difficult, honestly. I think I experienced some rots. I did a Millsbow kind of clean out plant chores video a couple of months ago, and I'd found that there really wasn't much of a root system on this guy when I went ahead and put it into this pot in this mix. And yeah, it's only given me a couple of leaves since I've had it for like the past 6 months. And I don't know, it's just been, I guess, slow to get going. So we'll see what the next year brings. I am really excited to keep growing it. I was, of course, influenced by Tyler from Rousseau Plant Care, which I'm sure many of us were when it comes to the anthurium veitchii and when it comes to lots of different plants. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever have one on that kind of level, but I would just be happy with this growing into like a medium-sized plant, you know? So hopefully it has a good 2025. We'll see. And then the last plant that was on my wish list is actually one that I did not get, and I considered getting this on several different occasions, but I just didn't end up doing it because they're still so expensive, and that is the alocasia black velvet pink variegated. Now, I would absolutely love to have this alocasia, and I probably will purchase it at some point. Maybe prices will come down next year. I'm sure that they will. But yeah, this alocasia is just such a dream with the pink variegation. Like, I'm obsessed, and I feel like I finally cracked the code for anthurium black velvet with having it in a self-watering setup. Now, I actually don't have my black velvet anymore, just my regular one, and I'm trying to think. I think it was infested with mealybugs. I had to purge a bunch of plants from my veitchii shelf earlier in the year because of that, and I think that was one that I got rid of at that time, which sucks because I had just kind of figured it out and got it growing well. But maybe I will replace it with the pink variegated version someday. I love alocasia so much, and I would like to, I mean, I'm trying not to be in the mindset of like, I would like to add more alocasia into my collection. I would like to just continue to grow the ones I have better. Let's say that. Appreciate the ones that I have. Like, look at this. This is so cool. But if I ever come across, like, if it ever just works out that I'm able to get the alocasia black velvet for not like $500, then I'll probably do it because I'm obsessed. So yeah, that was the last plant on my wish list. And I said that I was going to talk about the plant that has been my, like, what's it called? Like standing plant that has been on my wish list for just many years since the beginning of my planty journey. And I was finally able to grab it this year because prices have drastically come down. I think this is going to be a plant that becomes very available, especially over the next year. And I had to treat myself to it. I just had to treat myself to it. I found it maybe at the end of summer, or did I get this in fall? No, end of summer, I think. I'd been like stalking it online. From the plant shop that I got it from was called, I want to say, Aya, I think. Aya's Tropical Plants. I think it's in Quebec. But yeah, I grabbed it from myself. So I guess we'll give a little update on that one. So this is her variegated philodendron hostatum, or philodendron silver sword. Now, if you have been watching my channel for a while, when I say a while, I mean like a few years, then you would know of my love of philodendron silver sword. When I got this, I ended up getting rid of my just regular one because, I don't know, it just wasn't really growing that well. And I figured I don't really need both of them. I'll just grow this one, which kind of, I miss having just the regular one already. And I always do this. Like, why do I always get rid of philodendron silver sword and then regret it? I should learn my lesson by now. But yeah, I have this variegated one now, and it's doing pretty well. I had it in the Millsbo cabinet for a while, and it wasn't doing as great, I think because it wasn't getting enough light. So I've moved it back onto my veitchii under my Rousseau pendant light, and it's already doing better. It's popped out this new leaf the other day. The variegation is kind of like Polaroid, like it develops over time. So you can see down here, this is like an older, oh my gosh, look at it, it's like transparent. Oh no, that's from like edema, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, from the water, absorbing the water and the cells bursting. This is an older leaf with the more developed variegation. It's so pretty. I feel like I got a really great specimen because it's such just like beautiful marbled variegation, and all of the new leaves I've gotten, I think I've gotten 3 2 or 3 new leaves, and the variegation has been stunning on all of them. So I'm super thankful for that, because, you know, it would suck to get this plant and then just have it revert or something, but it hasn't so far. And it's honestly, it's almost grown enough where I'm going to be able to attach it to this pole, which I'm excited about. I got this pole from Houseplant Essentials, and I put most of my plants on Rousseau poles just because they're my favorite, but I wanted to use this one for this plant because I just loved the way that the black looked with this plant in particular, and in this like black pot as well. I just think it's a super sleek setup, and yeah, I love it. I can't wait to watch this plant grow more. I think it's going to be so cool to see the leaf size up on this. I can't wait. I'm super excited. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really rewarding one to grow. And my mind is still blown that I have this variegated silver sword back in like 2019, 2020 times was like $12,000 for a cutting. So I paid less than $200 for that one. And that's another thing about plants and wish list plants while we're on the topic. If you're willing to wait, 99% of the time, you're going to be able to get that plant for a way, way, way cheaper price. So yeah, it really does pay off to have patience in this hobby. And I'm so glad that I waited, even though I had to wait like 4 or 5 years. It makes it even more special and exciting that I have that plant now. And it's always kind of fun to have plants to look forward to and to, like, I don't know, just shop around for the perfect one. Like even now, some of my top wish list plants from like prior years, for example, Hoya patriciae, I think it's renamed now, but that one, the past few years, I've wanted that plant so bad. It was like at the top of my Hoya wish list, and then I really couldn't find it. So I just kind of like, I don't know, let go of that dream a little bit. And the other day I saw it on Etsy for like $100, and I feel like in the past I would have just immediately added to cart and checked out, especially after wanting it for so long and not being able to find it. But I didn't get it because I was like, you know what? I have so many plants that need to be repotted and need to be cared for right now. I do not need to be bringing in another new plant. I've gotten so many new plants over the past few months, and it's kind of nice to have a plant that I really want that is just, I don't know, that is just out there still and something for me to look forward to. Like, I don't need that plant right this second. I'm sure that I will find it again over the next couple of years. You know what I mean? Like, I've said this before, but it's not so urgent anymore. It's not like I need this now kind of thing anymore. And I guess that kind of leads me into 2025 and my 2025 wish list, which is kind of, I mean, there's definitely plants that I want, but I kind of decided not to do a wish list video for this year, or to like add a wish list into this video, because I don't know, the main thing that I want to focus on next year is just caring for the plants that I have, maybe downsizing a little bit more, and just, yeah, be bringing less plants in, because I just do not need more plants in here, you know what I mean? So I'm probably going to be shopping less for plants, or I'm going to be shopping just very intentionally. I'm probably going to be accepting less gifted plants, which is hard to do, you know? But that's just kind of what next year is going to look like. So yeah, there's lots of plants that I want. I literally have plants in my Etsy basket right now that I don't know if I will check out with them or not. They've been in there for a while. So there's definitely plants that I want. And as a plant lover and a plant collector, of course, like, especially Hoya, I feel like there's just so many varieties of Hoya, like an insane amount. It's crazy. But I think I really just have to come to terms with the fact that I cannot have every single variety that I like, and some of them I need to either just appreciate in other people's collections, or I need to swap out one of my current plants if I want to bring a new plant in. So that's where the like intention comes in. I really have to like think about the plants that I want to grow, and you know, anyways, I'm not going to talk about it too much. That's just like a little the general vibe of new plants for next year. And I'm just so content with my collection. Like, I have so many plants. I love all my plants. I feel so lucky to have the collection that I do. I would have never imagined, like, I wouldn't have been able to fathom having all of these plants a few years ago. I am just so content. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a more thorough plant goals for 2025 video for my Patreon. That'll be going up this week on there. So if you're interested in that, my Patreon is always linked down below in the description. I post bonus content, we have a Discord, stuff like that. So yeah, I look forward to creating that video for there because I love just reflecting and kind of setting intentions for the upcoming year. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you liked seeing all of the plants. I can't believe just how many incredible plants I got over this past year. It's crazy. So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Let me know what if you got any wish list plants this year. I would love to know your favorite plant that you got over this past year. Or did you not get any plants? Or yeah, actually, if you did a plant no buy for this year, I would love to hear about that as well. Just, I guess, anything, if you have any thoughts or comments on anything that I've talked about in this video, I would love to hear, basically. All right, thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.